Let's just turn our focus back to the Middle East now on this special edition of Countdown. Dubai may have been the region's powerhouse until the sovereign debt crisis engulfed the emirate this time last year. But who's the region's top dog now? I was in Abu Dhabi on Monday to find out a little bit about how that city is measuring up. Have a listen.
I think there's been a big development in both markets throughout the crisis, where probably Dubai had a little bit of a head start with the establishment of the IFC. But as a whole, this is a new developing market which has evolved quite quickly through the region.
Dubai has been working on its diversification strategy for 50-odd years. Abu Dhabi is quite new to that. So it's Dubai has a first mover advantage, has an established tourism industry, has an established external sector that is a benefit not just to Dubai but to the UAE as a whole. Dubai is essentially the driver of non-oil economic growth within the United Arab Emirates. I think that's well understood, and to suggest that one emirate is trying to take over another emirate in that respect is kind of a cannibalistic type approach to economic development. That's not occurring.
Abu Dhabi has had the luxury, I guess, of watching Dubai, watching how things have developed, and actually learning some lessons. I mean, I don't think there'll be anybody in Dubai who wouldn't say there are some things that have been good and other things that maybe they'd do differently next time.
Right, so let's just consider further what lies ahead for Dubai and Abu Dhabi, because I'm joined now by Hashem Montasser, Regional Head of EFG-Hermes Asset Management. Good to talk to you, Hashem.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming in. So I'm going to pick up where Mark Watts in Abu Dhabi left off when I spoke to him. What do you make of this dynamic between Abu Dhabi and Dubai? Is Abu Dhabi more interesting to investors?
I think, to be honest, it's largely overplayed. So I think, to a large extent, there's complementary skills between what you see in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. From an investment perspective, obviously Dubai has been beaten down considerably over the last, since the crisis erupted. So there are some interesting opportunities there. Abu Dhabi as well is struggling as well, though, on some names. So, look at names like Al-Dar, Saruh, the real estate names. I think they're searching for a business model. Those stocks have been hard hit. So you probably can pick up good names in both Dubai and Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, it's a very fair assessment. OK, so you aim to invest right across the region, Middle East, North Africa. Tell me which countries you like right now.
Well, let me start with telling you what we think in terms of just general macro. So we think that currently the macro backdrop for the region is positive. Obviously, oil prices have been very stable. Commodity prices have been elevated. That means that with that positive backdrop, we like sectorally sectors that will benefit from that. Obviously, petchems, mining names, some of the consumer names come to mind. Having said that, that also means that also then guides us into what countries we like. So Saudi Arabia is probably top pick. You have a number of very interesting mining and petchem names there that we like. A couple of consumer names, especially in telecom. Qatar obviously has been in the news recently with the World Cup nomination. That's interesting. Market has run up since. So we're a bit cautious today on Qatar, just tactically. Egypt probably comes next as our third choice.
Is there enough payback right now for investors to come to this market?
It's a good question. I think there is. One has to be patient. I think to some extent the markets are still correlating with global markets. So they haven't developed a pace on their own, so to speak. So you have to be also looking at global markets and whether you're constructive on that or not. If you are, which we generally are, I think that the markets could see a good run over the next couple of months.
Okay, and been speaking very much about events in the US, quantitative easing. We now could see more of that potentially. Investors focusing on the Fed meeting very closely. Ben Bernanke has already indicated the door could be open to more stimulus. European sovereign debt concerns as well, very much the focus right now of the markets. How do those things affect investment in this region?
I think they do on multiple levels. Obviously, the dollar is one factor. Yeah. So to the extent that we're going to see dollar weakness, that could benefit commodities. That's a positive for the region. Low interest rates would also have their dynamic in the region. One thing that we start to get concerned about, no concern yet, is inflation, especially in some of the markets in our region that are large importers of inflation. Egypt comes to mind, large importer of wheat and foodstuffs. So this is something that's similar to other emerging markets where we haven't seen large signs, visible signs yet, but it's something I think going into 2011 that's going to become a theme again.
Great. Thank you very much. Hashem Montasser, Head of EFG-Hermes Asset Management. Good to talk to you. Thanks for coming in.